Welcome to Skin Sense. I am Debbie Lesante, and I am filling in for my daughter, Janine.
And we are here, we have a special guest, okay? We have a nurse practitioner, Tatyana Simutkin, and she works at our research plant, or I should say office in Camp Hill, where we do a lot of clinical research. We've talked about that before. We do research on things like psoriasis, like acne, like eczema. So it's really kind of cool stuff, and it's groundbreaking stuff. It's stuff that people, don't have yet, and we're partly responsible for the FDA approving these drugs so that, we as consumers can use them.
Well, welcome to the show, Tatyana. It's so nice to meet you and to have you here with us. And you have a great background story, too, that Doc was telling me a little bit about. Why don't you share that with the audience as to where you're from originally?
Well, thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
I was born in Russia. My parents immigrated here during the Cold War. Came here not knowing the language, not really having anyone here, just wishing for a new life, hoping to start a new life, and came here. And
it's not just the Soviet Union. You came from the far end of the Soviet Union, right?
Really from like the Siberia area, yeah, right.
Oh,
far east, like Vladivostok. And homeschooled for high school and decided to go into nursing thanks to my mother.
Is your mother a nurse?
My mother is not a nurse, but she's a very smart lady. She was a pastry chef. I was initially going to be a literature major, and my mother roasted me and said, "Are you going to write a New York bestseller?" So I said, "Hey, what should I do?" And she said, "Nursing." So that's where I started. I ended up doing cardiovascular research and went back to grad school. Went to University of Penn for my master's, did a lot of clinical research once I graduated in neurology, did over a decade of that. I also had the opportunity to work in a derm practice on the cosmetic side.
Okay, so we have to talk about your family, okay, because this I find very, very fascinating. So, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 4 brothers and double the sisters.
8 sisters and 4 brothers.
That's right.
Where do you sit in that, in age?
I'm the oldest, and we're the baker's dozen. My mom's a pastry chef, and my dad has a degree in baking science, so I guess it was meant to be.
So they had to have the baker's dozen.
But back to the cosmetic side of why I got into that. It's always very vulnerable to share things about yourself, but I had severe acne growing up, and that was really the interest of getting into skin and to dermatology, especially into the cosmetic side, because everybody wants to put their best face forward.
Exactly, and you look absolutely stunning. You would never know that you had severe acne as a child.
Were you ever on Accutane?
I was not on Accutane.
Oh, okay.
I did blue light therapy, the lasers, back in the day. This was probably, I don't know, a good 17 years ago. I'm aging myself, a good long time ago. And I did a lot of laser therapy as well, resurfacing therapy and microneedling, probably the best thing for scar therapy in my opinion. But that led into a lot of research, doing neurology and cosmetic work and dermatology. So when I got this job opportunity, it really was a dream come true of doing everything I love, the research and the skin part.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So that's how I ended up here.
Okay, she's great. She's what's called a sub-investigator. Okay.
I like to say co-investigator, Doc.
What's that?
Co-investigator.
Co-investigator. Okay, she's stepping on my shoes already. Yeah, they have, when you do clinical studies, they have what's called the principal investigator, which is me, and then you have the sub-investigator, which is the brains right here. But no, who does a lot of really cool stuff. Like we talk about acne, so if we do an acne study, you're going to be doing what's called lesion counts, okay? How do you know if something works in acne? Well, you take before and after photos, or you see the patient before and after therapy, and you can actually compare pimples, okay? If a person starts with 20 pimples and then 12 weeks later is down to 2, well, it's a pretty good chance that that medicine is working.
With all the
So
factors involved, right?
Yeah, yeah, those are some of the factors involved.
The other thing we talk about with them when they come into the study is the consistencies of maintaining lifestyle and just things that flare things or contribute to acne, any skin condition that they're part of in the research as well. So they get some education on their skin condition if they're not following with a dermatologist regularly as well.
Yeah, and one of the things to point out with the clinical studies is that a lot of our patients who are in the studies can't afford doctor visits, can't afford medications. So the good thing with the studies are, their transportation's covered, their medicines are covered, they're actually paid a stipend to use the products. So, we all know what's going on in healthcare this day and age, and people losing coverage, people who have coverage still can't afford their doctor visits. So there's really a need, for patients who can't have access to care. And if you have a condition that we're studying, well, it's great. I mean, it's great for everybody. It's great for, us doing the studies because we have, subjects we can see if the medicine's working. And it's particularly great for patients who can't afford, medical care.
Now, how do you find your patients for these studies? How do you screen? Are there people who come to you, or do you
No, that's a
physically
great,
look for them?
as everybody here knows, I also have a dermatology practice.
Right.
And the thing with studies is that, when you're doing a study, it may be 12 weeks, it may be 16 weeks. And once the study is over, well, a patient's still going to need care.
I wanted to add about, you were talking about the drugs and the trials. We do different trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, depending where the drug is in with the data and safety. The difference between phase 2, phase 3 is phase 2, like Doc said, are shorter studies, 12 to 16 weeks. But we're also working with studies that are phase 3, and their patients get drugs for 2 to 5 years potentially. So if patients get into a phase 3 study and they have difficulty getting medication, like no coverage, the study's fairly long where their condition can significantly improve potentially during the study. They're getting access to care.
And where did these drugs originate? I mean, does the government come to you, or does the FDA or the drug companies come to you and say, this is a new drug, we'd like to have it tested? Do they come to you and ask for that?
Absolutely what happens,
Okay.
yeah. The drug companies come to us and say just what you said. We'd like you to test. We're in any number of centers across the world, because most of these studies now are done worldwide. And they come to us, and the cool thing is, now with AI, artificial intelligence, they're able to pick out new compounds that probably never would have been picked out before, because you could do rapid searches of all these chemicals and all these ingredients, and then pick out the ones that they think from an AI standpoint are going to work the best on the human body. And so I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more drugs come out that are very, very beneficial.
Do they also find things that are similar in various patients that may be a contributing factor to the cause of it to begin with? Cause of the acne or whatever you're studying, any of these skin diseases, are they going to find maybe the actual cause?
Yeah, well, some things they know, like acne, we don't really know the cause. I mean, we know the glands are overactive. We know there's just certain germs growing, but certain people a lot of things are genetic. Which we don't have too much control over our genes.
No, we don't.
You know
but
what I mean?
They are including that in a lot of the trials, doing genetic testing or just looking at DNA and things like that.
Yeah. Also, how a patient responds to it. You may respond to something that I don't respond to. We may have the same condition, but we respond differently.
I know you're a nurse, but you should have went to medical school. That's very good logic.
Well,
you're absolutely right. Some people just don't respond to drugs that other people do. And they're developing tests now to figure out, I mean, many of these drugs are, like 100,000, 120, 150,000 a year. So if you could identify the patients that will respond right away to the drug rather than trial and error, think how much money you would save for the health system.
So your job must be so rewarding when you do see something that responds. It's just the aha moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's very good at it too. I have to say, she's excellent. We're really happy to have her. And maybe in the next segment, we'll go over some of her life experiences, which are pretty interesting.
Stay with us. You're watching Skin Sense. Welcome back to Skin Sense. We're here with Dr. Schleicher, our well-known co-host and well-known writer, author, publisher, everything that has to do with skin. And he has a special guest with him today, Tatyana. She is a nurse practitioner, and she's involved in the research of different skin diseases, skin conditions, whatever. And we're having such a great conversation here, even while we're at commercials. But tell us more about this. It's just so interesting to find out how your particular office was chosen for this. How does that happen, that you're chosen among all these offices?
Well, we actually have a very good reputation. Outside of me, okay, but no, I'm just kidding.
It's 20 years of research with
Yeah,
Doc.
I've done
He's been
research for quite some time. And, drug companies know us. You can tell them about what people said about us at the meeting.
When we were at our last meeting at AAD, they told us that we were the #1 enroller in eczema trials.
Wow.
Yeah, for the country.
For the country,
So that's
#1.
Pretty good.
So
Pretty
we
good.
do see a lot of eczema, a lot of skin conditions in our office in general.
And we're just starting a psoriasis trial. And you mentioned acne. Well, some of the fascinating things that nobody would even think of, but they're trying to develop a vaccine against acne, okay, against the germ that causes acne. So there's really some really neat and cool things going. Almost as neat and cool about as your life, okay? Her life is like amazing. Just the fact that, you have 12...
We could do like the whole show on that with
We
the
could do
baker.
the whole show. I mean, okay, so we hire her, and she goes to Israel the day before the bombing starts, okay? And she's supposed to come back, and 3 weeks later, she's going across the desert to get to Jordan. She's sending me pictures of bomb shelters. Yes. So tell me a little bit about your experience. I mean, that's just one of our experiences.
Well, I would call my life interesting more than amazing.
Well, it's interesting that you came here from Siberia.
Pretty much, yes.
And you didn't speak English.
No English until I went to first grade.
So you went to first grade, and you were homeschooled prior to that. And
I was
then high school, you were
homeschooled for high school, yep.
And did your parents, everybody came with you? The whole
So
family?
I was the only one that was born. I was a little baby when I came here, under a year old, and then all my siblings were born here. So they're Americans. They speak English. We're all fluent in Russian, but yes.
And a few went to Israel with you.
Yes, so it happened with my dad. So I had some heart issues, so I wanted to cheer him up, and I said, let's go on a trip. And my dad picked Israel, and Dr. Schleicher.
I tried to warn her. I said, please don't go to the Middle East.
With the heart condition, he's going to Israel, the bombs are flying, you're looking for the bomb shelter. I mean, how much excitement? How about your poor dad's heart?
A day later,
I like to think he got some good exercise. His heart is stronger, hopefully now. But
and her parents were stranded there for 3 months. She got out early, and because she went through Jordan. She's showing me pictures of her with camels, like in the desert. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
It was quite a life experience, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to live in this country. I'm so grateful for the freedom we have, just the opportunities I've had in this country.
Tell everybody out there how lucky they are.
Yes, this country is a wonderful country. We have freedom. We have everything we could dream of, only if you're willing to work for it, absolutely.
But you say the Israelis were really nice to you.
Everybody, yeah, the locals, people, we lived in a small Hasidic village, town where we lived, and like you said, my parents were there for a long time. My dad ran out of heart medications, blood thinners. I mean, this was stressful for me. And there was a nice gentleman who my brother had met, and my dad reached out to him. He took my dad and mom to the doctor, to Tel Aviv, a couple hours away, made sure they had everything they needed, So I'm very grateful that there's good people everywhere if we look for them.
Did your dad have the experience of his lifetime that he wanted in Israel? And then some, huh?
He called me. I talked to him recently, and I said, I'm so sorry I took you on this trip. I'm so sorry I put you through all of this. And he said, no, I'm very grateful. I enjoyed the trip very much. So there you have it, Doc.
That's very cool, though. Very
Where
cool.
do your parents live now?
If you watch the Weather Channel, one of the coldest places in America International Falls like as cold
They
as it
miss
gets.
Siberia so much.
They miss it so much.
That's a going joke.
We think it's
and you're
cold
freezing.
here.
You're
I'm
sitting here
I'm
freezing.
I'm always freezing. It
Oh
could
my
be
God.
the middle of the summer.
Well, we won't send you to Siberia, all right?
And they
That's a
ask me
deal.
why I don't move. I'm like, guess why? When the sun moves up there, then I'll move.
Yeah, I mean,
I like the
and of
sun.
course, not being daredevil enough, she's going to India for the third time
For a wedding.
for a wedding.
Wedding. Oh, will
My
India.
third
will you
wedding.
put the Indian attire
Yes.
on?
Yeah.
That's so. And how
Yeah.
about
Yep,
everything?
the bindi and the
bindi,
jewelry,
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Well, that's
gaudy.
the fun part for a
Well,
girl,
tell them
Doc.
about your trip the last time. I mean, we worry about this girl. I mean, every time she goes somewhere, we worry. So tell her what happened the last time you went to India.
The first time, my friends didn't tell me, but I was in danger. The second time, we were pulled over. We left the country club, wherever the party before the wedding was, the day before the wedding. And 2 a.m. probably, we get pulled over at gunpoint. Doors open, and the only word I understand is identification, just identification and guns. And I have the most important things in my purse, my phone and my lipstick.
That's right.
No ID, no passport. And I'm like, is that even legal not to have an ID? So I started yelling back at them in English, hoping that they just don't want to deal with me. First of all, leave us alone, let us go. Then I called the bride's father.
They were pointing guns at you.
They were pointing guns, yep. Somebody got out to take a little bathroom break. I thought we were all going to go to jail. I was excited about that part. Wouldn't be just me. And called the bride's father. He was able to eventually explain who we were. The groom's father was like head of CBI, which is like Indian FBI. So
well, that
that's
was
what I tried
lucky.
to tell them. They got the wrong people. And they eventually let us go without asking for ID or anything. And the next day they explained to me that they were actually worried I was being sex trafficked. And it's a good thing they never found out I didn't have my ID, because it would have taken me for my safety, thinking that's what they typically do when they sex traffic. They take their IDs away. So carry your ID with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
mean, daredevil. So tell them how you broke your back, and she breaks her back, and that she's still skiing in Colorado. I mean, okay, tell us about that.
Well, you know,
And
I
we're
knew
trying
there
to-
had to be something daredevil about you in order to team
Work
up
with him, right?
Yeah,
Well,
because you really have to have nerves of steel, and you have to have something like really wrong with your brain.
Yeah, I just,
Or nothing
I'm
scares
only
you.
teasing you, Doc. I'm trying to fill in for Janine. How am I doing?
You're doing great. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to fire you too. Yeah. Notice I fired Janine. She's not here. So,
She's not.
yeah.
Am
yeah.
I next?
Well, you're. No.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah. So okay, so I mean, this girl breaks her back, and she can't wait to go back skiing. So tell us about that episode.
Skiing is the new therapy, that's right. I had an unfortunate incident and broke my back 5 years ago. Life-changing, would say. I never thought I would work again or do professionally what I do now.
How did you break your back?
I fell.
You just fell.
Somebody pushed me and I fell backwards. It was an accident and it changed my life. But the good thing is I'm here stronger and better.
And she can't wait to go back to
Skiing.
not Vermont, Vermont.
Colorado.
The hills, Vermont. The hills
Colorado.
are a little too small for her.
You
yeah.
have to go where
Yeah.
you have the largest.
Yeah, of course, of
go to
course.
the Alps. You
Vail
just
or
go
Aspen.
to-
Alps, I like that too, yes.
Yeah, go to
Yeah,
Austria.
between Israel, India, and skiing. Yeah, we worry about this. You know, that's why I don't go out at night. We just sit and worry about her and get
keeps them
we get
busy.
vicarious thrills to her. I don't have to go out. I just think about her life, and
Look,
it's
see where
great.
she has to escape
it's
to
great.
from being with you all the time.
I need a little release, right?
Yeah, she needs
Adrenaline release.
Yeah.
You know, are you a thrill seeker, I guess, huh?
It seems to find me. That's what
seems
I'd like to
find you.
think.
Yeah.
Well, you must get a lot of rewarding feelings from what you do when you have a patient that comes to you and you're researching, first of all, a drug, and then you see it actually has a great effect. How about the people that you're working with on, that they're the subjects of this? I could just imagine the relief for them too with these conditions, especially skin conditions, because you wear your skin. You know, that's the
Yeah,
first
it's so
thing
visible.
people see.
That's the thing. It's very, very visible. And you know, we're talking about heart disease and all this, but you know, some people care more about their skin than their hearts, because, looks mean.
So visual. You
Yeah,
see
I
it,
mean,
you can't
looks
hide it from
mean-
someone else. You can hide chest pain from someone, but you can't hide a sore.
Yeah, which brings up a really good point too about people and skin and the internet and social media and the advice that people are getting is really scary.
It is scary, especially with some of the treatments for skin
Yeah.
that people think they can do at home, which is not good.
Yeah, and we try to, we try to warn people and whatever, but, people are hooked. And, you have these pseudo experts, giving out not medical advice, quack advice. And, we again, anybody out there who, tries to get 90% of the stuff you see on TikTok, Facebook, whatever, it's valid. But the other 10% is not. And if you fall for the other 10%, you could be in very, very bad shape.
There are other things when you see a patient, no matter what they come to you for, isn't a lot of times you see other things that they don't even know they have.
Yeah, and I just read somewhere like 70% of individuals go to social media first before going to a doctor, with any kind of problem.
Well, with rising health cares, I can see why they would like to get a free, like a little advice first, make sure that it's a valid concern. But with the eczema, the rewarding part is when people come in, particularly with that or psoriasis, is they get better, they have relief. They start to feel better about themselves as well, not physically feeling better and mentally, which is really important. And watching that journey is extremely rewarding.
It's like watching them evolve.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of discussions on what they're doing. The other benefit is when they come in, I always talk to them like, what have you done different if you're better or worse? And we really look at some things that they may have never thought about that are contributing to their skin condition.
All the factors involved.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, if their skin conditions are better, they're sleeping better. And that's such a big factor for inflammation and just healing in general. Because think about it, if you're itching all the time. I had a mosquito bite once and I didn't sleep for 2 days. And all I could think when I woke up was, how do my patients feel? So it is very rewarding when they have relief.
Compassion. You have a lot of compassion for them. Well,
Absolutely.
we hope to see Tatyana a lot more. You? Well,
Yeah, I know, man.
you
You're
come with the
kind of
package,
stuck
but
with me, but
we're stuck. Not really. You're
let me know
doing
if you
such
get
a great job,
Let me know
Doc.
if you get a new co-host, all right? So I'll celebrate in Vegas or somewhere cool.
I don't know. We're going to have to
It won't
say
be
hello
India
to
and it won't be
Janine.
Israel, I'll tell you that
Say
much.
hello to
Let's get to the
Janine.
Maldives.
Oh yeah, Janine, hi. How are you doing? 3,000 miles away, wherever. Yeah, perfect.
Well, thanks for joining us here at Skin Sense. We always look forward to having Doc on and bring you the latest information. And if you'd like to visit Doc, do you have a website they can visit you at, how they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they could, it's just, you could do a search with either dermdocs, centers.com, or bestskinresearch.com.
That's where you'll find me.
That's where you'll find her.
Talk with you later.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.